So another element in digital marketing is email marketing. This is important for relationship building. It's very common in B2B marketing. And the reason it's important for relationship building is, unlike other forms of digital outreach, you know who you're talking to because you have to send the email to a specific address. So the issues here are list management and coming up with the effective email. So the first part is to develop a list. How do you develop the list? In the B2B world, trade shows is a very powerful way of developing a list. Typically these days, if you go to a trade show, you register for the trade show, and as part of the registration, you would include phone number, email address, and contact information. And then a lot of times they'll give you something scannable, a band or a name tag or something, so that when I visit a booth, they scan my name tag and they have all of that information. And the fact that I visited your booth at a trade show suggests that I might be interested in what your company has to offer. Another one is just if I drive people to the website, they go to my website, they a lot of times, and we'll talk about this when we talk about automated marketing and the customer funnel, is a lot of times when I visit a site, I might get something for free, but if I want something more, I have to give a little bit of information. So for example, if I want a white paper, they might say, give us your email address and we will email you the white paper. Now I have your email address. And then later, if you want another white paper, they might say, well, could you tell us your job and occupation? But you kind of get that information bit by bit. But these are the ways that you build the list. What's critical in email marketing is permission. People ignore emails from unknown sources because that's where malware comes from. I don't know about you, but if I don't know who it's from, I don't even open it, because if I open it, that could be a problem. So you need to have permission to send people emails. They kind of have to know who it's from. If somebody lets you scan their tag at a trade show, or if somebody gives you their email address in exchange for a white paper, you have implicit permission, right? Because they know that, and the idea is with the first contact after that, it's important to allow the customer to opt in to validate that you have permission. Well, even if not opt in, but give them a clear way of opting out. So the first email should always have a clear unsubscribe if you don't want further messages on this, because you don't want to be thrown into spam. So the email, again, this is all about content marketing. Email is content, and the content needs to be relevant to what the customer wants. So they call it a payoff, is if you send me an email, for me to open it, there has to be something in it for me. I don't know if you've mentioned in this class before, but customers are selfish. So I'm not going to do anything you want me to do unless there's something in it for me. That's the payoff. So what you send them needs to be relevant. And again, this is where this whole behavioral segmentation comes in. If somebody downloads a white paper, well, you probably have a pretty good idea of what they're interested in because the white paper was about a specific topic. Or if they visit your booth at a trade show, well, you probably have an idea of what they're interested in because the trade show was about something. So at least that's a good starting point. The subject line is critical because people see the subject line and may or may not open it, but if the subject line is not compelling, they're not going to open it. So you need to, very important 2 or 3 words, kind of like a billboard ad. And then personalization always helps. Way back in the olden days when I was a sales manager, that was the rule of thumb with little giveaways that you give people, the promotional items, is the rule of thumb is people never throw away something if it has their name on it. The digital analog is people are more likely to be interested in something if it's about them. People never get tired of hearing their name. So personalization helps them open it, and then you need to have a way to respond because the email is a call to action. And the conversion would be get them to do what you want them to do. You may want them to reply. There may be some links in the email that would take you to content. And this is one of the ways that we can segment online is I might have 2 or 3 different calls to action in the email. And depending on which call to action the customer clicks on, gives you an indication of what they're interested or the level of their interest. I just had one of those this morning. I get dozens of these because I'm always getting white papers because I need them for this class. So I have to give them my email, and as a result, I'm on a million mailing lists. And I get these emails where, click here if you want to come to our webinar, click here if you'd want the white paper, click here if you'd like to be off the list. And if there is a click to a link in the email, it should be a deep link. It should take them directly to whatever is relevant to them based on the email, as opposed to taking them to your homepage. So when it comes to email marketing, in kind of gospel according to Bruce, 3 levels of conversion. The first level is, did they get the email? And just because you have an email address doesn't mean people are going to get it. It's estimated that about 20% of people don't ever get the emails that you send them. So only about 80% of what you send out is going to go through. That may be because the email address is no longer valid. That may be because you ran into a spam filter, either from the email program or from the ISP. Because again, both the email programs and the ISPs are trying to make sure that what their customers get is relevant. So if it doesn't appear to be relevant, they're gonna scan it. Then the next level is, did they open it? And this is where the subject line is so important. If they opened it, that's an indication that they're interested, and email monitoring programs will tell you the number of opens. So it just constant contact, and I think MailChimp. With an email campaign, they'll tell you how many people received it, how many people opened it, and then the responses, the last level of conversion, did they do what you want them to do? Did they click on the link? Did they ask for the white paper? Did they reply? And you know what that is because you can monitor that directly.